everyone, welcome to the Sew Essential vlog. I'm Lucy and I'm here today to talk to you about my latest makes. So I'll run through the pattern, the fabric, what I thought, what the construction was like, any adjustments I made, and hopefully give you lots and lots of sewing inspiration and ideas. As always, the patterns and the fabrics are all available on our website, and you can find the link to our website below, and I'll also pop a link to our blog below where you can find really useful tutorials and tips, probably some of the things I've included in these makes. So let's get started with the first make, which is this gorgeously warm, toasty, aptly named toaster sweater. So this is by Soho 7 Patterns, and it's made in one of our lovely printed jersey fabrics. So it's got, I chose version 1, which has got the turtleneck. It's a raglan sleeve, which is good for me with issues in the shoulder fitting area. It's got a lovely wide band round the hem, and then it's got lovely deep cuffs as well. And it's just super comfortable. It was a nice, quick, easy make. I absolutely adore this fabric because I'm really into forest green this season, which is definitely one of this season's colours. But it's also, if you look closely, it also has some little sparkly silver metallic bits running through this fabric as well, which I think gives it another nice little twist. I'm just wearing it with a black scuba skirt that I made a few years ago and some knee-high boots and tights, but it also looks great with jeans as well. And ultimately in the winter I just live in jumpers, whether it's with a skirt or with trousers. I do tend to wear them a lot, so I thought it would be a really useful thing to have in my wardrobe. I'm wearing it for the first time today. I know I'm just going to wear it loads this winter. The fabric I've talked about, I should just say as well, the reverse side is white, and it's like got this lovely super soft sort of feel to it as well, making it even more cosy. It's quite cold here where I work. We've got a warehouse, and I've got like my little studio, and we've got like a little office, but all of it can get a bit drafty and cold in the winter, but I'm pleased to say this is keeping me nice and snug today, so definitely ticks that box. I'm really happy with the way it looks. The pattern was dead straightforward and simple. The only adjustments that I made was I made a high round back adjustment. You can find all the details for that on our blog, and I did a video on the YouTube channel as well a while ago. I didn't make a forward shoulder adjustment because it's a raglan sleeve and it hasn't got a dart, and it's not in two pieces, it's in one whole piece. So I didn't feel that I needed to do that, and I'm glad I didn't because the fit's really good. It feels really comfortable. I think it was important to do the high round back because, you know, I do just need that little bit extra fabric in the back because I am a bit hunched. But other than that, that was the only thing I did. Everything else was straightforward. I do tell a lie, I did cut from a small and I graded out to a medium at the waist and hips, just because that's where my measurements fell. It's quite nice and roomy. You know, I did sort of consider when I was making it, oh, should I just make a straight size small? But then I thought, actually no, it's a jumper. I don't want it skin tight. I want to be able to wear, I've got a t-shirt underneath it today. You know, I want to be able to wear things underneath it and to feel comfortable, and I'm glad that I didn't do that. I'm glad I stuck with the small and graded out to the medium. So my measurements are a 33.5-inch bust to 29-inch waist and a 38-inch hip. And I went from a small to graded out to a medium. In terms of construction, again, it was dead simple, such an easy, quick pattern to make, especially because the sleeves are just in one piece. You've just got the sleeve piece, the front bodice, the back bodice, the funnel neck, and then the hemband and the cuff bands. I decided to, what did I do? I think I used a bit of stretch interfacing on the neckband. I decided to do that just to give it some real stability and structure, because I wanted it to be quite, so I didn't want it to be baggy and loose. I wanted this one to fit quite sort of big, quite structured. So I put a bit of stretch interfacing on it. And then also I did make the neckband quite a bit shorter than the pattern piece as well, because I felt that it wasn't, the neckband should always be sort of 10 to 15% shorter than your neckline when you're making a knit or jersey top. And maybe with funnel necks it's not so important as with a normal neckband, because the normal neckband has to sit flat against your chest, whereas obviously your funnel necks are coming up here, and it wouldn't matter so much if it was a bit looser. But I wanted to draw everything in and make sure that everything sat nicely, so I did shorten the neckband until I was happy that it was shorter than the neckline and it was going to draw things in a little bit. I use stretch interfacing on it, as I say, just to give it some more structure, and then that stabilises the neckline as well. I didn't stabilise the shoulders obviously because there's no seam there, so I didn't bother doing that. And then I made it up on my overlocker as usual, as I always do my jersey and knit makes. But one thing I will say is when I attached the neckband, thank goodness I did it on my sewing machine first and then went to overlock it, because where the seams are, there's 4 seams where the raglan sleeves attach, so there's one at the back and one at the front for each sleeve, and where they attached, when I sewed the neckband to the neckline, they sort of folded over and bunched up as they went under the machine, so I had to unpick those bits and do them again. So I was really glad that didn't happen on my overlocker, because it would have been a bit of a nightmare. So that's one thing to watch out for. But generally the construction of this is so easy. I think I might have changed the order perhaps. No, I think they suggested, yeah, I think they suggested sewing the sleeves onto the bodice and then attaching the neckband and then doing the side seams, and I think that's the order I did it in. Everything fitted together really nicely otherwise, so the hemband and the cuffs fitted together really nicely. I think the length's just about right on my arms, which I have got quite long arms, so there's, you know, it's not shy on the length, this pattern. And then I've made a little note if there's anything. The only other thing I was going to say is I did get it comfortably out of 1.5 meters of fabric, my size as well, so that's worth mentioning. And yeah, that was pretty much it really. So all round a lovely, quick, simple sew that I know I'm going to wear again and again this winter. The next thing I want to share with you is this lovely Jarly pattern. So it's Jarly 3903. It's the Nicole Dress and t-shirt pattern. Again, it's another stretch pattern. I made it in this grey leopard print fabric that we've got, a lovely silky soft grey leopard print jersey. I'll just show you the length. I wouldn't normally wear it with my knee-high boots. I'd wear it with ankle boots, and I probably wouldn't wear it with tights either because it is clinging to the tights a little bit. So I probably would wear this with bare legs and ankle boots on a night out, although I did wear it with tights recently as well, but I think I might need to wear like an anti-static slip or put some anti-static spray on because it just seems to be clinging to my tights a little bit. But yeah, it's a lovely pattern. It's a lovely simple shift dress. There are bust darts, which I always like because I like to give myself a little bit of shape there because I am quite small busted. It's got this little funnel neck, and then I chose to do the short sleeves, but you can do long sleeves as well. There's a t-shirt version, there's a version for children, so you can do children's sizes, but all round another lovely pattern. So easy to make. Wore it on a night out. We went to see a band recently and I wore it on a night out and I just felt great in it. I felt so comfortable, which was lovely, and I feel so old when I keep going on about comfort all the time, but it is more and more important in my life these days. But having said that, I don't want to look you know, like I haven't made an effort or, you know, too dressed down. So it's nice to have things that are comfortable but you still feel dressed up, you still feel like you've made an effort, and this is definitely one of those dresses for me. In terms of the fabric, it's sewed up really nicely. I made it on my overlocker. It is lovely and silky soft. It's got like that lovely soft sort of sheen to it. So again, that makes it feel like quite a dressy fabric for me. It is quite lightweight. and it could potentially be a little bit sheer, I thought. So I decided to line it. I just lined the body, so I didn't bother with the sleeves, with our stretch lining fabric, our John Caldor stretch lining fabric, which is brilliant, and is probably quite hard to come by as well. We do it in a range of different colours: nude, cream, white, navy, black. I lined it with the black stretch lining, and that just made it feel a bit more substantial, I suppose, which I was really pleased with. In terms of the pattern itself and fit, I made my usual high round back adjustment, and I moved the shoulders forward as well, probably about 1/2 inch I usually do there. But I also decided to widen the shoulders as well, because I often find with indie patterns they don't come out quite far enough here. They're a bit shy and a bit short on my shoulders. The big four are always fine, they're ample, but the indie patterns, for some reason, everyone must have much more narrow shoulders than me. I decided to widen that, and all I did was I took sort of trace the curve between the notch and the shoulder seam, and then I just moved it out like 1/4 of an inch or half, I think it was about 1/4 of an inch, so that the distance between the notch and the shoulder seam didn't change. And so the armhole sort of didn't change, but the length of the shoulder seam became wider. Hope that makes sense. I might try and do a blog on that at some point, but I did that on the front and the back, and it seemed to work out quite well. I feel like the armhole seams are in the right place, and it's not too shy on the back, which was what I was worried about, so it fits quite nicely there. Again, I think I used stretch interfacing on the neckband, because I just didn't want it stretching out of shape when I was pulling it on and off my head. Wanted it to feel a little bit more sort of structured and substantial, so I did that. When I lined the bodice, I also attached the lining to the bodice pieces at the neckline before attaching the neckband, because I thought if I've got the dress piece, the lining piece, and then the 2 layers of the neckband as well, and I'm trying to sew all of that on my overlocker, there's a lot of opportunity there for one of the, particularly with such slippery, stretchy fabrics, even though it's on an overlocker, I thought there's a lot of chance for something to go awry there. So I decided to just tack the lining to the bodice fabric, and then I attached the neckband. But what was funny about that, and this is a learning point, is that it was like effectively almost doing a stay stitch, tacking the lining to the bodice. I used a longer stitch so it was easy to unpick if any of it was visible, but I did it within the seam line so it wouldn't be. But then of course when I went to put the dress on, I heard a bit of a crack as those stitches popped. Now it was fine, it's worked out fine, they were within the seam allowance, it doesn't matter, but it's just worth mentioning that happened, so just bear that in mind if you were going to do that. But I'm glad that I did it, because it stopped everything moving around. Okay, they did the stay stitches or whatever, the tacking stitches did pop, but because I overlocked over those when I attached the neckband, that wasn't a problem anyway. The other thing I will mention about this pattern is, I did raise the bust darts as well actually. I did have to raise the bust darts because they were a bit low on me, but that's quite common for me anyway, so it's worth just checking where they're sitting on you. But the other thing I will mention is it's 1/4 inch seams, and I never really like working with 1/4 inch seams. I did on this occasion, I just did it, I cut it out, I cut a straight size S, but in future what I would do is I would probably add a little bit of seam allowance, maybe make the seam allowances 3/8 or 1/2 inch, just because I think it just gives you a bit more room for manoeuvre. It's just a bit easier to sew. You know, sometimes with 1/4 inch seams, sewing on your overlocker, it's quite difficult to catch everything, and I didn't quite catch the shoulder seam when I was attaching the neckband in one part and ended up having to hand stitch that. So you know, one of the phrases I really like, I suppose, that I wanted to share with you actually in this vlog, is that well, you never stop making mistakes, you just get better at fixing them. And I think that is so true. I think that's one of the big things that's changed for me with my sewing in recent, like probably in the last year. If things go awry or things go a bit wrong, I don't have that massive oh my god panic. I just sort of think, okay, that's annoying, that's not ideal, I'll probably get a bit annoyed, go and make a cup of tea, mull it over, and then I'm like, right, well, I'll just do this, and I've got the confidence now to sort of work out how to fix the mistakes, and that comes to us all eventually. So yeah, I know a lot of you always say, oh, we like the way that you tell us when things go wrong, and I do, because I'm honest, and I don't think there's any point in people sitting there saying, oh, everything goes perfectly every time, you know. I know my mother-in-law's been saying for over 60 years, and she'll come into work some days and say, God, I just couldn't get this to work last night. So I just thought I'd share that with you over the when I mentioned the shoulder seam anyway, not catching in the neckband. But I think that is pretty much everything to say. I really like this pattern. I really like, as I say, the way it feels like a dressy dress, but it's a quick, easy make, and I feel really comfortable in it. So I'll just give you one last little twirl of that. And it was inspired by, there was a dress like this on my favourite website, or one of my favourite high street shops, Warehouse, and that's where I got the inspiration from for this one. I cover stitched the seams on it, and the hem and the hem on the sleeves as well. And that's pretty much it for this week. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I've already got something else that I've whipped up, and I'm working away to try and get some other stuff done for you for the new year. I think we'll probably have one last vlog before Christmas, so if you don't catch that one, Merry Christmas to you all, and thank you so much for all your support this year. It means the world, and we can't believe, you know, how popular the channel is and how many subscribers we've got. You know, we really appreciate all your support. Your lovely comments honestly mean the world to me. But I'm not going to gush too much. I'll do a bit of that next week as well, but just in case anyone doesn't catch that. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, the link to our website where you can find the patterns and the fabrics I've talked about today. You can find our blog and all the tips and tutorials I've mentioned. All those links are below, so check those out, guys, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. If you like what you see today as well, please like and subscribe.